Welcome to Table for One. I'm the narrator, and in today's video, I'll be playing Sleeping Gods Primeval Peril. Let's get rolling. Alright, so I am all set up to play Sleeping Gods Primeval Peril. I am really excited to get this to the channel. The Sleeping Gods series of games is one of my favorite series of games, but it is very long. It's a campaign game, so it's difficult to get it on YouTube. So I'm going to try and play Primeval Peril, which is by far the shortest entry in the series. I will try and get this all into one video. I might have to split it into two. We'll just see how it goes. And so this is not a how to play video necessarily, but I'm going to kind of explain a little bit as I go. So if you're not familiar with the series, I think you'll get the gist of it as I go here. And this will also be spoiler heavy. So I've played the first Sleeping Gods twice, I've played Distant Skies once, and then I've played this, Primeval Peril, probably 4 times. Most recently about 6 weeks ago. But yeah, my most recent playthrough of this game was I took a week-long vacation with a bunch of friends, and everybody brought their families, and it was this giant lake house, and it was an awesome time. And I thought maybe this would be an opportunity to introduce some of my friends to Sleeping Gods. So I brought this smaller version, Primeval Peril, and as soon as we got up there, I fell really sick. So I didn't want to get everybody else in the group sick, so I locked myself away in my room, and the first thing I did was play through this. So it was kind of a bummer, but also if I had to be locked in a room, it was a good way to spend my time. So you don't need to have played one to play another, and they don't necessarily overlap story-wise, but a big part of the game is exploration and storytelling, and so I'm going to play a whole playthrough. So I obviously won't cover everything in the game, but I will cover many things, so just be aware of that going in. From a component perspective here, I've replaced, there's little wooden tokens that come with this game for stamina, and I've replaced them with metal versions that I got with my copy of Distant Skies, but they function exactly the same. I've just got these nice metal tokens, so I might as well use them. Additionally, I've replaced the cardboard standee of the boat, the Harpy, with this 3D printed one. This is one we're working on, me and my friends, with our 3D printing Etsy store called Brain Bucket Games. There's a link in the description. At the time of recording, this is not available to purchase. This is a prototype. It's a little bit rough. We're still working on it, but I might as well play with it since I've got it. And then, as I mentioned, I've played through this a few times before, so there are unlockable things as well. So I'm going to use those. So just be aware of that before I start dealing out some cards here. Now, another thing to know before going into this is that it is, a narrative game, and there's going to be a decent amount of reading, but the reading is pretty front-loaded as well. So the longest passage that I'll read to you will be the introduction, and the second longest will be after the first turn. So if it feels like at the beginning I'm doing a lot of reading, I am, but I promise beyond those 2 passages, they tend to get more succinct. So let's get our new journey log out. I've printed this off myself because I don't want to use the ones that come with the book. That's just a quirk that I have. So players, this is going to be a solo game. It's just narrator. And we're going to play on normal mode. And so there's this whole river system here. We start in this bottom right corner, and I've been all over this river system, but I've kind of charted the course that I kind of plan to take this time because it's a little bit different than the course I took last time. I want to see a different part of the map than I've most recently seen. I think I've seen nearly every stop on this map, but it's a branching story, so there's definitely a lot of story I haven't covered. So I'll put this away for now. We'll take it out as needed. Let's shuffle up this event deck before we get started. It's already shuffled, but just so you can see that it's shuffled. And then we've got our adventure deck over here. We don't shuffle those. Those cards are numbered. And we will take those out as we are told to. All of our characters have their health at full. So does the boat. And we have one of each of the different items to start with. So we have 1 meat, 1 fruit, 1 rope, 1 torch, 1 coin, and 1 map. And each of those can do different things. Because we're playing solo, these are all, my character. I'm controlling all of them, so they can swap things freely between each other. If we're on the boat, you can also swap things between people and the storage up there in the top corner on the boat. But we might as well use our player slots while we can, so we can just bring everything around with us. And these characters can have 5 different skills. They have strength, perception, cunning, I think crafting, and savvy. And so for no particular reason, I've kind of split up the different items that can give you bonuses on those. So the captain here has meat, which gives you strength. John has rope, which gives you craft. Mei Ling has, what is this, a torch, so that gives you perception. And Lois has a coin, which gives you cunning. And Dr. Milk has a map, which gives you savvy. And just from personal experience, I've decided those are kind of the traits that I try and give to each character as we go here. So now to finish the setup, this is where a little bit of spoilery stuff will happen. I've got some cards that I've earned from previous playthroughs. So the first time you finish the game, or I guess your second playthrough, you start with card 6. Your third playthrough, you get card 23. Your fourth playthrough, you get card 54. So this must be my 5th playthrough now. And then card 64 I earned from getting one of the special endings. I think there's at least 4 endings to this game, like a standard one and 3 special ones, I think. And I've only seen one of the special ones. It'd be nice to get one of the new ones. But here are the items. So I get a life jacket. Somebody can get a permanent advancement for Gearhead. What does that do? +1 to fate die when taking the repair action. I guess the life jacket is +1 block for yourself versus counterattacks. I've got this weapon, chloroform, which lets you get rid of 6 power tokens. That's really strong. That's pretty cool. And then golden infestation. This is also a permanent advancement. You may spend coins to deal 1 damage each. I don't think I'm really interested in spending coins to do damage, but I think I'll give a permanent advancement to Mei Ling, so she's got 2 perception now. And I will give this life jacket, I guess, to Captain Vine. Give him an extra block, extra strength. And I'll give Gearhead to John. So he's got 2 craft, and then I've got this weapon. So the combat deck starts with 12 cards, and you must have at least 12 cards at all time, but you can replace them with these upgraded cards. So might as well put that one in there. And I think it's like a bunch of machetes in here. Wrench. What do I want to get rid of? Maybe a taunt. That's because there's a couple taunts. I think 1 is enough. So I'll put chloroform in there. I'll shuffle this up. So you use these cards when you go into battle, and you are allowed to reconfigure your deck right before battle if that's something you want to do. So I think I'll leave it like that for now. I'll set this off to the side. So I still have that. I can put it back in the deck sometime if that's something I want to do. And I think it's time to start the story. So let me grab the rulebook and open it up because it doubles as a storybook. And we will go to the introduction. So again, this will be the longest passage, I promise. The air in the San Francisco Bay was thick. Tired of their perches, the storm clouds were sinking to the earth to sleep. A small fishing vessel thrummed along in the evening stillness. Its captain, Jim Vine, peered into the fog as if gazing into a crystal ball, looking for good fortune, or bad. Of all the nights to steer blind, John Lee appeared beside Captain Vine, staring at the wall of gray cloud. Can't even see the buoys. It just feels wrong. This fog will be good cover, Vine replied. And we've both seen worse. You should make sure your parents are all right. John nodded, but as he left, Vine clutched the brass wheel tighter. The fog hid something unsettling tonight. I can't see the pier. John's mother, Mei Ling, looked at him urgently. Her husband, Shen, stood beside her, smiling patiently back at John, his eyes full of trust. Don't worry, Mother. We take the Harpy across the bay all the time. We'll get you there safely. Mei Ling shivered, despite her thick jacket and scarf. The Harpy, she grimaced. I don't like that name, and I don't like boats. We shouldn't have come. It's too dangerous. It would take months to replace all Dad's gear. If we can get it back tonight, it's worth a little danger. A sudden splash interrupted the silence. There was thrashing in the water ahead, a mess of arms and legs and a pair of frantic faces floundering in the dark waters. "Get them into the boat," Vine called to John, and they pulled the soggy swimmers aboard, dropping them onto the deck like a pair of octopuses. A woman with fierce eyes and an exasperated expression untangled herself first, flinging off the water in an impatient flurry. Her companion, a miserable man in large glasses, pulled himself up from the deck and begged for a blanket as he emptied his pockets of bay water. He looked back and forth between the woman and the bay, as if he considered jumping back in. Mei Ling and Shen brought the towels and hot coffee, and Vine faced the shivering pair. "How on earth did you get out here on a night like this?" "We fell off a cruise ship," the man said, as he sneaked a glance at the woman. "Thank goodness you were nearby. I'm Dr. Milk, and this is my assistant, Lois." "Business colleague," interrupted Lois with a scowl. She stood defensive and defiant, with one hand in her jacket pocket. "Just so long as it's not a pistol," thought Vine. He kept a wary eye on both of them as John and his parents threw questions at them faster than they could answer. As they muttered short, awkward replies, a sudden change in the air caught Vine's attention, and he looked back into the dark fog. It was subtle, shifting temperatures and the smell of fresh rain in an approaching breeze. The air grew sweltering, suffocating, like the ship was on fire. Then the water changed. The waves were longer, lower, and faster, and their color was light and creamy like coffee with milk. Through the fog was a forest canopy, thick and covered in vines, and so deeply green it was almost black. In a moment the fog fell away, the sky flashed into a sharp daylight, and Vine and his passengers, still on the deck of the Harpy, were floating on a winding river in the middle of a towering rainforest. Instantly, as if an alarm had sounded, a terrible screech rang out. A swift shadow passed over the boat. Before anyone could duck, a monstrous winged lizard swooped down and picked up Shen, carrying him over the jungle and out of sight. The shock turned to panic as Mei Ling screamed and John seized the wheel and pushed the engine to full. Lois and Dr. Milk stood watching, like witnesses to a crime. Vine did what he always did in a crisis, what he did in the Great War. He built a hedge around his inner terror, ignoring the deep instinct to run and hide. He could hear the deafening bombardment as he sat in the trenches in France, terrified, cold, hungry, but he pushed the memory away. That was a long time ago. At least it wasn't so cold here. He took a breath and gazed behind them at the mess of jungle where San Francisco should have been. It was clear now. There was bad fortune ahead. He took another breath and called out, to the frenzied passengers, to the beast who had taken Shen, and to the din of the sweltering jungle. "Quiet!" He watched as 4 worried faces turned toward him. "We don't know where we are. Don't know how we got here. We don't even know each other. That doesn't matter now. We're a crew, the 5 of us, with a job to do. We're going to find that monster, get Shen back, and get the hell out of this jungle." All right, so thanks for sticking with me. Gain cards 2, 3, and 55. So we're going to go to the adventure deck here. We need cards 2, 3, and 55. Okay. And then the first player starts their turn. So let's see what we've got here. Card 2 is a fishing pole, which gives you cunning, and when you rest, you gain a meat. Card 3 is useful gear. It gives you, craft, and when you rest, you gain 2 reroll fate tokens. And then we got quest number 55, save Shen. Let's put that aside. Let's equip these. I think I want Lois to take the fishing pole. She has 2 cunning to start with, so that's a 3rd cunning. And then we'll give this useful gear to John, so now he has 3 craft skills. And save Shen. So what does this say? A giant flying lizard snatched Shen, Mei Ling's husband and John's father, carrying him north over the jungle. We must rescue him and find a way back to San Francisco. At the start of the 2nd turn of the game, read A, then place this card in the game box. So A is a place that I turn to in the rule book. So that'll be the 2nd longest passage, and then we'll be past a lot of the reading. So to start our turn, we always have to draw an event. So let's take this top card, and we have Floating Barrel. You snatch a stray barrel from the river. Gain 1 map. That was a very positive event to start with. That's great. got a map. Let's give it to Dr. Milk here. That is not how most events are going to go. So now that we've done an event, we can move this pocket watch to the right to spend time to do these actions. So we can spend 1 time to travel across these dotted lines on the map so we can move the boat. We can spend 2 time to explore any of these locations on the side. Some of them are just resolved quickly. If they're these brown boxes, it just tells you on the page how to resolve them. If it's a number, then you turn to that page in the storybook and read what it says, and it'll give you some instructions. We can spend 2 time to repair the boat if we need to, so it can get damaged, and then we can try and get it back up. Or we can rest. That doesn't take any time, but it means we have to cross a moon off of our progress sheet. So here's that sheet, and there's these moons at the bottom. If you run out of moons, then you only have 3 more turns until the game is over. So you want to be careful with how you use those moons. But each time you use it, all the characters get all their stamina back. Every character gains 2 health, and you also have the opportunity to spend in pairs a meat and a fruit, and each time you do, you can gain 5 more health and allocate that to the characters as you see fit. So one thing I noticed right away on this start space, there is a map, hidden treasure right there, and so you have to spend a map to do that explore action, but I think that is something we might as well do since we've got a couple maps. So I'm going to spend 2 time to explore. And so if we read this here, hidden treasure, you must pay 1 treasure map and then cross off this location. So let's pay our treasure map. This goes away and then cross off this location. So we find it right here by the start. There's the treasure map. We cross it off. We cannot go back to this treasure map. And so now we do a skill test. So this says you need perception 6. If you fail, you lose 8 health. And then whether you fail or succeed, in either case, you gain 1 coin and card 11. So we could choose to have people participate. So we need perception 6. So if we have Mei Ling participate, she'll give us 2. And so we decide who's going to participate. Each participant must spend a stamina token. And then after we've decided who's going to participate, we roll this fate die, which is a regular d6, 1 to 6. We add that number to the number of relevant skill icons that we have. And if we meet the threshold, then we succeed. Otherwise, we fail. We also have the opportunity at that time to spend items to gain additional skills. So we could spend this torch to gain 1 more perception if we were off by 5. I don't really want to lose 8 health off the bat, but I don't want to dedicate too many resources to it. So I'm going to have Mei Ling participate. And she's got 2, so I'm going to roll this d6. So if I roll a 4 or higher, then we'll pass the skill test. So I've got a 50-50 chance of not taking out Mei Ling in the first turn. I'll put this die here. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll. 6. Okay. So I could have just not spent the stamina token at all, and I would have been fine, but that's the name of the game. So I don't take 8 damage, but I do get 1 coin. So we'll go ahead and put it here, I guess. And card 11. So we got a pocket watch, and that gives you 1, whatever that is, savvy. So let's put that here under Dr. Milk. We'll equip the pocket watch. Okay, so now I think we're going to spend 1 time to travel 1 space up the river, and then 2 more time to explore location 1. That seems like a good idea. There's a little picture of a dock there. So let's see location 1. As the thrum of insects floods the air, the shore widens, and you see a man sitting on the riverbank. The ground around him is covered in canvas-wrapped earthenware, and he beckons you to see. You pull up to the rickety dock, and the man grins. Has fate sent you to me in this dire hour? Will you help me? Or leave me here, a lost piece of a deadly puzzle? Perhaps fate sent you to us, says Dr. Milk. We're lost as well. Can you tell us where we are? The man strokes his curly beard. You're in the wandering sea, near the great city of Zakmir, home of the vast, ancient... I don't mean to be rude, John interjects, but we don't need a history lesson. We need to find my father. "And what does he need?" asks Lois, nodding at the man who is eyeing the harpy like a delicious meal. "I can guide you up the river," he offers eagerly. "I can take you to a waterfall north of here. Maybe that's where your father is. There's just something important I need to return along the way." So now we can either ask him to explain, or we can try and distract him while we look for clues, and that is a cunning challenge. We would need to get a cunning score of 5. If we fail, we'll lose 4 health. And yeah, what the heck? Let's distract him because that sounds fun. So I'm just going to use Lois for this challenge. I'm going to spend 1 stamina. She has 1, 2, 3 cunning to begin with, and we can always spend a 4th if we need to, but I don't anticipate it. So we've got 3. We need to have 5 total. Let's roll for it. 3. So 3 and 3 is 6. So we pass the challenge. We don't lose any health. Turn to 1.3. You ask him about the river, the jungle, and any dangers you can encounter. The man answers you, but stops abruptly when he sees Lois grab one of the pots near the shore. "Put that back," he shouts, "or you'll regret it forever." You jump back onto the harpy and leave him screaming on the beach. Gain 2 coins and card 58. Cross off location 1, return to the map. So we've got an abundance of coins now, and we have filled all of the character slots with items. So we also gain card 58. This is a quest. Golden Bat. Keyword, cursed. We stole a golden bat statue from a man we met in the jungle. Rude. Okay, there we go. Something we did. And cross off location 1. So we cannot go back here and talk to this man again. I'm not going back to that location. It's off limits. Now we are out of time, so we're going to reset the stopwatch, or pocket watch, I'm sorry. And according to Quest 55, at the start of the second turn of the game, read A, then place this card in the game box. So we're just going to put it off to the side here, and let's read A. So this is the other lengthier passage, and then most of the reading will be shorter, I promise. A handsome man with black hair climbs from the water onto your deck like he's returning from a pleasant swim. "Looks like you've had a bad day," he says, picking up a rusty boat hook to examine it. "One of your friends was taken by the monster." A grin grows at the corner of his mouth. Mei Ling rushes forward. "Do you know where it took him? You have to help us. Tell us what you know." The man shrugs. "I'm afraid I can't do much. You see, a monster lives in the cliffs above Zakra's waterfall, far up the river, and the only way to get all the way up there is to bring an offering to Zakra." "Who's Zakra?" you ask. "He's a god." The man winks. "A god who sleeps deeply in a distant tower, but his spirit wanders this jungle. He'll want an offering, at least 20 blood flowers." Mei Ling shakes her head. "This doesn't make any sense. Don't tell me stories about gods or flowers. Just tell me where to find my husband." The man chuckles. "Just as I said, you can find the monster in the cliffs above Zakra's waterfall. It's at the head of this river. But don't waste any time, or your husband will be dinner. And bring the blood flowers." With a final eerie laugh, the man dives into the river and disappears. Dr. Milk dashes to the gunwale, waiting for him to surface, but he never does. "You heard him," says John. "Let's find the waterfall." "I know a huckster when I see one," says Lois. "I don't buy his story, and I'm sure he's hiding something." "He's not the only one," Dr. Milk says to himself. "We'll work with what we've got," you say. "For now, let's head up the river and look for the blood flowers. It's our only lead." "Yes," Mei Ling nods, her face drawn, as quickly as possible. Gain card 56, return to the map. So 56 is probably a quest card. Yes, Zakra's Waterfall. A strange man told us that, to find Shen, we must bring 20 blood flowers to the waterfall up the river to the northwest and offer them to a god named Zakra, who will open the way. We must hurry before Shen is consumed by the flying lizard that captured him. So that's sort of the main quest. So let's go ahead and close this. One thing I didn't mention is that the main character, if you will, of the story is Captain Vine. So whenever the storybook says you looked or you saw or you said, it's talking about Captain Vine, and then these are the supporting characters. And if you haven't caught on, it's Captain Vine's got the boat, and John works for him. This is John's mother, Mei Ling. These are the two people that they picked up in the San Francisco Bay, Lois and Dr. Milk. And of course, we are looking for Shen. So it's a new turn. We draw a new event card. Hidden Rocks. The Harpy hits some river rocks as you catch fish. Take 1 boat damage. Gain 1 meat. So we'll take 1 damage to the Harpy and gain 1 meat. And we're holding 4 coins already, so I'm going to take one of these coins and put it on the boat, and we'll hold the meat. And so I think I want to continue upriver. I want to spend 1 time to move the boat 1 space. And now I want to spend 2 time to explore. And there's 2 places to explore on this space. There's an overgrown trail, and there is also a numbered spot. So I want to start with the overgrown trail. It says you must pay 1 rope and cross this location off the map. So we do have a rope, so let's spend that. And we'll cross this location off the map. And the challenge here is a savvy challenge. We'd have to get a score of 9. So the only character I have with more than 1 savvy is Dr. Milk. He has 2. So even if I use Dr. Milk and roll a 6, I'll still be 2 short, 2 savvy short. And I don't know that I want to use all this other stamina to try and get up to 9. So I think I am just going to accept that I'm going to take the damage. So we'll go ahead and roll the fate die. Let's see if we roll a 9 on this d6. We did not. We rolled a 2. So we fail. We have to lose 8 health. Part of the reason I did it that way was, 1, I want to hold on to the stamina tokens, and 2, if I for example use this stamina token, rolled this 2, he's got 2 savvy, I would have had 4, I still would have failed, but now the 8 health, because he participated in the challenge, would have had to come all from this character, and he would have been KO'd, which we don't really want. So because no one participated, I could spread the damage among the characters. So by default, Captain Vine and John each start with 9 health, and Mei Ling, Lois, and Dr. Milk have 8. So we'll start 1, 2 damage just to get them all even down to 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and somebody else needs to take 1 more hit. I think we'll use Captain Vine, so he can lead by example, but also because he's got some shield if he needs it during combat. And now the reward is gain 1 blood flower. So the blood flowers, remember we need to get 20 of them to save Shen, and that's what this section is down here. So I'll go ahead and color this one in. There are 20 flowers here. Each time we gain 5 flowers, we can level up one of these characters. So by the end, assuming we do get to 20 blood flowers, 4 of the 5 of these characters will be on level 2. And as far as I know, there is no way to level up all 5 characters during the course of the game, so that's kind of an interesting decision as well. And so we still have a little more time. I'm going to spend 1, 2 time to explore this location here. That is 19. So let's get the storybook. All right, so storybook 19. The ferns brush your pant legs as you claw through a pack of vines, ducking under palm leaves and white hanging moss. Dr. Milk pushes past you, chasing a glint of something shiny in the ferns, and you notice a white spider with an apple-sized abdomen crawling up his neck. John shrieks when he sees it, but the arachnid bites down hard before anyone can smack it away. Dr. Milk runs back toward the river, hollering and gripping his neck. Isn't someone going to help him? Asks Mei Ling. He was looking for something just ahead, past all the spider webs, says John casually. I wonder what it was. I noticed something at the bottom of the ridge, Lois suggests. We could take a look on our way back. Though no one seems eager to turn back and help Dr. Milk, you're left with the decision. I know what he would do if it was one of us, says Lois, sneering. So we can either cut through the spider webs ahead, which will be a strength test. We can go back and aid Dr. Milk, or we can search the ridge on our way back to the Harpy, which is a perception test. I think I have the best chance of achieving the strength challenge. So we're going to cut through the spider webs ahead. So we need to do a strength challenge of 5, and Dr. Milk cannot participate because, he ran away. And so we can't use his items either. So we'll go ahead and have Captain Vine participate because he's got 2 strength already. And we only need 5, so as long as we roll a 3 or higher, then we're set. 4. Okay. So we passed the challenge. We had 6 strength, so we turned to 19.1. Wrapped within a sticky spider silk nest, Lois finds a flask filled with golden liquid. She tucks it away, and you return to the Harpy. So we gain 1 rope, 1 coin, and card 12. So we'll put the rope back here. 1 coin, we'll just put that on the boat. Card 12. There we go. What have we got? Golden Potion. This is a recipe. So it gives you 1 cunning, and when you rest, you gain 1 extra health. So that's great. Let's equip this to Lois. So now she's up to 4 cunning. That's pretty cool. And now Dr. Milk gains a Venom. So there are status tokens. There are 4 different ones, Venom being one of them. At the start of each turn, every character with a Venom loses 1 health. And Dr. Milk also loses 2 health. So he's down to 5. Then cross off location 19 and return to the map. So we have been here. And we'll take this. So we've got a couple options to deal with that Venom. You can spend a fruit to get rid of a Venom, but I think it's more valuable to hold on to until we rest. Also, each character has some special abilities. I guess John doesn't start with any, or not John, Captain Jim Vine doesn't start with any. But Dr. Milk says he can spend 2 stamina tokens to remove a Venom or a Weakened. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend 2 stamina, and he's going to cure his own Venom status. I prefer to get rid of those status tokens as quickly as possible. Although that does remind me, when you rest, I did not mention, not only do you replace your stamina and get some health and have the option to spend meat and fruit for health, but you also get to remove 1 status token on 1 character. So that's another way to get rid of it. But we are now out of time for this turn, so let's reset Pocket Watch and start a new turn. So we draw an event. And we have Boiler Burn. John burns his hand while stoking the boiler fire. John gains Weakened, and then we gain 1 torch. So here is Weakened, and then we need a torch. So I think we'll put this on the boat for now. Really got a lot of inventory. So Weakened gives you -2 to every skill. So for example, John has 3 craft, but with Weakened, he only has 1 craft. He has 1 perception and 1 strength. Those are both 0. They don't go negative. But we don't really want to use John for any skill tests now. And the character who can eliminate Weakened status is Dr. Milk, again having to spend 2 stamina tokens to do it, and he's only got 1 left. So we're kind of stuck with the Weakened for now. I don't have another way to get rid of that. And I'm not quite ready to rest. So I would like to continue moving north up the river. So I'm going to spend a time to move here. And we've reached the edge of the page. I'm going to spend a time to move again. And this says, turn to page 4. So we're going to go up. You may have noticed there's some enemies on this page. Here's page 4. So we're coming from the bottom now. We are here. And there's enemies on this page normally. And in the main games in this series, in Sleeping Gods and in Sleeping Gods Distant Skies, you can go on some of these exploration adventures, and sometimes you'll run into combat, and it'll tell you at the time of combat there's like a deck of combat cards with enemies. It'll say grab these numbered cards, and those are the enemies you fight. You know, this game's a little bit more condensed, so you kind of know what enemies you might encounter on this page. So that's a little bit different than the other games in the series. Takes some of the surprise out of it, but it does help to make a shorter, cleaner package. So anyway, there were no hazards there, okay? And yeah, I think I would like to explore whatever this location is. You know, exploring is the only way that we're going to find these 19 more blood flowers that we need. So let's spend 1-2 time to explore. Okay, so here is location 5. A man with a long braid gathers the pieces of a wrecked canoe. When he sees you approaching, he throws his armful of broken boards to the sand and picks up a handful of stones. Ire floods his face as he hurls them at you, one by one. Get out of here. You don't belong in these rivers. As he bends down to gather more stones, you see, around his neck, a crimson flower hanging from a beaded necklace. We don't want to be here either. John leans over the gunwale, trying to reason with the angry man. A monster took my father, and we're just trying to get him back. The man throws a rock right at John, knocking him in the jaw. John takes 3 damage. Hey. Mei Ling retrieves the rock and throws it into the river indignantly. Your blind anger may be why you have a wrecked canoe. Invaders like you did this to my canoe. The wicked sleeping gods have brought you all here to do their bidding. So now we can either land and take the man's flower necklace with a strength test. We can try to convince the man that we're not a threat, which is a cunning test, or we could ignore him and continue on. I think I've got a much better shot with the cunning test based off of Lois's high cunning skills and all the coins that I've got. So I'm going to spend 1 stamina for Lois to do a cunning test. And you can spend more than more than one character can participate by spending a stamina, but only 1 stamina per player or character. I couldn't spend 2 to double it. So Lois has 4 stamina. We need to get to 7. So let's go ahead and roll. We rolled a 5, so that's 9 cunning. So we passed the test. So we turn to 5.1. White crabs scurry as you repair the man's canoe. We're just lost. We don't want to hurt you. With a sigh, the man nods. I believe you. You're victims of the gods, just like my son. He shows you a folded map and a copper key with a metal snakehead. He was looking for treasure, but his search led him to his death. The gods lured him away with empty promises, but I can't bring him back by playing their games. It's perhaps time I let them go. So now we can either ask the man about the gods, or ask the man about his son. And the gods would probably give us more information, but if we ask about his son, I feel like it's more personal, and maybe he'll, I don't know, give us some stuff. I want that blood flower that he's got hanging around his neck. So let's ask about his son. We turn to 5.4. He was so brave. The man fights away tears. He believed he could beat the gods at their own game, but they were too cowardly to face him. If he had ever found them, he would have freed us all from their lies. He gives you his son's belongings. Maybe you can help him find peace wherever he is. Gain 1 map and card 61. Cross off location 5 and return to the map. So we didn't get any blood flowers, but we got a map. So let's put that up here. And card 61. So I hope this is something awesome. Okay. Card 61, Snake Key, so it's a quest. This gives us keyword eyelid, and we also have keyword cursed. Sometimes in these stories, as you go through, it'll say if you have a certain keyword, then you have different options. So now we have keyword eyelid. A man gave us a copper key with a metal snake head on the end of it. It belonged to his son, who died chasing treasures from the gods. Okay, so I don't know what to do with that. We'll just have to hope we come across the keyword eyelid. And now we cross off this location and return to the map. That was location 5. There's 5. So we are started here, and we're kind of going up the river this way. So we have 1 more time, and I'm going to spend it to move 1 space. That's the end of this turn. Reset the watch, and we start a new turn. So draw an event. Tangled rope. A snake bites John as he untangles a rope from a low branch. John gains venom, and then we gain a rope. So John gains venom, and we gain a rope. John's really getting his butt kicked, and I don't appreciate it, because John's usually a pretty strong player. So I'm starting to consider the idea of resting. Not yet, because we still have too much stamina to spend. We want to get the most out of it, but I think pretty soon, because John's going to start losing health. But while we're on this space, there are 2 exploration items. So there is an overgrown trail. No, there is a hidden treasure and another location. So let's start with the hidden treasure. So we're going to explore for 2 time. And the hidden treasure says you must pay 1 treasure map. And so we've got 1 here. I'll go ahead and take the one from up there. As long as we've got 1, we're okay. And we cross off this location. Okay, and now we do a perception test. We need perception 6. And if we fail, we lose 8 health. I don't love the idea of losing 8 health. There is a chance we could just roll a 6. But I don't think I'm going to take that chance. I'm going to have Mei Ling do this challenge. So she has 2 perception, and we can always spend a torch or 2 if we have to. So let's roll 1. That's not good. So 1, 2, 3. We're not going to be able to get to 6. Even if I spent both torches, that would only get me to 5. So that's unfortunate. So we have to do -8 health, starting with any characters who participated, which was just Mei Ling. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She's out of health. And one other person needs to take a damage. Let's have it be Lois, because when we do rest, she'll get more health back. So that's kind of a bummer. Mei Ling is not dead. The characters don't die in this game, but she is at such a weakened state that she cannot participate in any other challenges, use her skills, or participate in combat. So for our trouble, now we gain 1 coin and card 47. So here's a coin. And card 47. It's a combat card. So we get Claws. This is a weapon. It does 3 damage. Plus 1 damage for every cunning you have, so that's super powerful for Lois, and you roll the combat die and remove 2 power tokens, which we'll see in a little bit, I'm sure. And then if you roll a -1, you take 3 damage. That's pretty interesting. So the other cunning card is like the one that I got rid of earlier, Taunt, which is 0 damage plus 1 damage for each cunning you have, and remove 2 power tokens. Is there another taunt in here? No? Okay, I want to leave 1. Let's get rid of one of these basic machetes. Put that in there. Okay, now my intent was to explore this location here, but I'm afraid, because it could be this combat, and I don't want to go into combat without one of my characters. That would be really bad. So I think it's a little early for this and a little inefficient, but I'm going to rest now. So I cross off 1 moon. Probably not a great use of that moon, but I'm kind of getting beat up here. So every character gets all their stamina back. So we're going to need 1 more for Captain Vine, 2 for Mei Ling, 2 for Lois, and 2 for Dr. Milk. And every character gains 2 health. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then this recipe would give 1 more health, and I think that could be to anyone. I guess it doesn't have to be Lois, because this is also like gain 1 meat, and like she doesn't have to gain the meat. That can go anywhere. Same thing with this one, these reroll tokens. So I'm going to take 1 health here for Mei Ling, bring that up just a little bit more, and I can get rid of 1 status token. I think it'll be this Venom. And I'm going to choose to spend 1 meat and 1 fruit to gain 5 more health in total. So I can get everybody at least a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're at 8, 7, 7, 8, 7. Not too bad. And then I also gain 2 reroll fate tokens. So I'll just put those over here. So at any time when we roll the fate die, we can choose to spend 1 of those to reroll. And we also gain 1 meat because Lois has a fishing pole. So we'll put that right there. Let's try and make sure our character slots stay full. So that was our first rest. And we can continue with our turn. Now I want to explore that location. So I'm going to spend 1, 2 time, and that is location 21. All right, so let's take a look at 21. A skeleton sits comfortably on the dry dirt path, as if he was sunbathing when death found him. Out of the jungle, 3 rats emerge, as large as humans and striding upright like lazy soldiers. They strip the skeleton of its canvas satchel and rusty hatchet without so much as a threat or a thanks, and walk away along the stone path deeper into the jungle. So that sure seems like these characters. I think we are going into combat here, so I'm glad I stopped to rest first. And now we can either choose to follow the rats or search the skeleton for anything the rats might have missed. And since I seem pretty prepared for it, I guess I'll follow the rats. So we're going to go to 21.1. At the end of the path is a temple of intricately carved granite blocks. Each stone corner is wrapped with carvings of jungle vines. Every wall is a stone mural of towering trees. Flocks of jungle birds color the face of the temple, flapping and squawking at the bold rats who are lighting a cooking fire on the temple's front step. So we can quietly steal whatever we can and sneak away, or we can attack the rats. And we haven't done any combat yet. Combat's pretty tough in this game, but the rewards are usually high. So let's go ahead and attack the rats because we're pretty prepared for it now, more so than usual. And so we're going to do combat 2. It says you may flee from this combat at the end of any combat round. If you do, return to the map. And then if you defeat the enemies, you turn to a different page. Oh, and there's also, I guess, another option. You can sneak into the stone temple. But I feel like I've committed to the combat. So let's do that. So we're going to need some tokens here. We've got power tokens, these blue triangles, and these health tokens, which are going to track damage. So first we have to load up these enemies. This one has a +1 triangle, so they start with 1. This one has a 1 and a 2, so they start with 3. And this one has a 1. Basically, these power tokens make them more powerful, as you can imagine, and they're going to do more damage to us the more tokens they have, so we don't want them to have a lot of tokens. And an enemy is killed when all their hearts are covered up. And so let's take a look at how combat works. So let's grab our deck of cards, our 12 curated cards. I'm going to shuffle them. It's a little bit of a deck building element here. Okay, so now I'm going to deal in a solo game 5 cards. And each combat round, we're going to play 4 cards. So we have Taunt, a Wrench, Chloroform, Pistol, and a Heavy Machete. And these do different things. So each character can attack 1 time in a combat round. So we're going to pick one of these weapons and apply it to a character, and they're going to attack one of the enemies. And so I think I want to start by giving Lois Taunt. This is one of the ones that uses Cunning. So it's just 1 damage per Cunning she has. 1, 2, 3, 4 damage. And you can also remove 2 power tokens. And so now I need to pick which enemy I want to apply it to. And I think I want to apply it to the one in the middle because that one has a lot of power tokens and I want to start removing them. So she's going to do 4 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4 Cunning. So I get to place one of these for each damage, and I need to pick, it's a 3x3 square, like a tic-tac-toe square. I need to pick a spot to hit, and then I can move orthogonally to other spaces and cover them up. And then these that have higher numbers, you need to spend like that much damage to cover that number. So I've got 4 damage to spend. I'm going to start here, go 2, 3, and 4. Now you can also do splash damage. You can kind of carry over onto adjacent enemies as long as at least half of your damage is done on the one that you targeted. So I didn't actually do any like damage to this one. All of its hearts are still uncovered, but now it won't gain any more of these power tokens. And it also had this end of round ability where it gives each of its allies 1 power token. So I've covered all that up, and now I can remove 2 power tokens. And now that enemy counterattacks. So this enemy does 2 damage plus 1 for each power token it has, which is now 1. So it's going to do 3 damage to Lois. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm kind of annoyed that I have to do it, but I'm going to spend 2 stamina from Dr. Milk right now to remove the weakness from John, because I just can't afford to have those abilities lower right now. So I'm not going to use the wrench with John. So the wrench does 0 damage, plus you roll the combat die, plus 1 damage for each craft symbol you have. So John has 3. That's why I wanted to get rid of the weakness, because that would have affected how many craft symbols he had. And then you also remove 1 power token. So before we roll, I'm going to target this rat here, because with the 3 damage I can do off the bat, I can go all the way up this right side, and then hopefully if I roll a 1, I can also cover up this power token. Now the combat die has a 3, a 2, 2 1s, a 0, and a -1. So a -1 would be pretty bad. We don't want that. So let's roll the combat die. And I got a 1. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 damage, which is what I wanted. That's great. So I hit this one here. So that would be at the end of the round. Somebody gets a weakness. So that's covered up. Here's a blank space. 1 heart is covered, and then 1 power token. And now I remove 1 power token. Great. And now this enemy counterattacks John. So it does 2 damage plus 1 for each power token. So just 2 damage. John goes down to 5. So next I think I'm going to use the Heavy Machete with Captain Vine. So this one does no damage, but you roll the combat die and will do 1 damage for each strength you have. And he's got 2 strength. And I'm going to target this one here. So as long as I do at least 2 2 damage. I can cover up this end of round ability, gives the character a venom. I don't want that. And then cover up this power token as well. Anything beyond that would be great. So let's go ahead and roll. 2. So 2 plus 2 is 4. I can put down 4 damage. So let's do 1 on that venom, 1 here on that power token. We'll put 1 on this blank and 1 down in this corner to cover that heart. I could have just done 1, 2, 3, 4, but I want to leave that open in case I'm able to do any splash damage across the 2 enemies for later. So now this enemy attacks back 2 damage plus 1 for each power token, so that's 3 damage in total. And maybe if I put it up here, it's a little easier to see. There you go. So 3 damage, and John always has one block against counterattack, so it's 2 damage back. 1, 2, and I get to play 1 more combat card. So I don't think I'm going to use the chloroform. That removes 6 power tokens, and I mean with 1 each, it's just not going to be super strong for me. So instead, I think I'm going to use the pistol, and I guess I'll give it to Dr. Milk. It's either Dr. Milk or Mei Ling. It doesn't really matter at this point, but I'll use Dr. Milk, and we will attack. Let's do the one in the middle. I think that'll give us the most opportunity for potential splash damage. So 3 damage, plus we roll the combat die. So let's grab the combat die and roll it here. 0. So 3 damage to the one in the middle. I think we'll go ahead and put it on this 3 right there. Okay. And then there's a counterattack. This does 2 plus 1, but you've got 1 block from this, so it's going to do 2 damage. And that is the end of the round. So at the end of the round, you check all the enemies, see if they have any uncovered end of round abilities, but they don't. I've covered all their end of round abilities, so none of those activate. Then you see if they have any uncovered of these gain power token symbols, and if they do, they would gain more power, but I've covered all of those as well. So then these 4 cards just get set to the side in a discard pile, and I draw back up to 5. Where's the deck? There it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's see what I've got. 2 basic machetes. I still have the chloroform, a whip, and another wrench. So how can I bring this to a conclusion? Well, this one's kind of a freebie. I'll have Captain Vine use the whip on this enemy on the left. So this does 1 damage. So I'll do it right there in the middle. And you remove 1 power token. And now there's a counterattack of just 2. And this has a block of 2, plus he's got another block of 3. So Captain Vine doesn't get injured. So I think next I will have John use the wrench on the enemy in the middle. So I've got to roll the combat die for this one. 0. So it's 0 plus the combat die. So 0 plus 0 plus your craft. 1, 2, 3 craft. So I'm going to do 3 damage to this enemy. I suppose at this point I will just put that here. And then remove 1 power token. And then there's a counterattack. So 2 to John. So it's down to 3 health. Got 2 more attacks. So we'll have Mei Ling go next, and she'll use the machete. And let's use that on the enemy on the right. So it's 2 damage, plus I roll the combat die. -1, so 1 damage. Okay, not great with the machete, Mei Ling. I'll go ahead and put it there. 2 damage back. And 1 more attack. Let's put it on Dr. Milk, because I think I've got some good cunning weapons still in the deck, so I expect to use Lois on the next round. So we'll have Dr. Milk, I guess, attack the one in the middle with the machete. Let's roll the combat die. 1. So 2 plus 1 is 3. At this point, we'll just cover up that one. So we're at the end of the round again. There's nothing to do with the enemies, so we'll set these aside. We get 4 more cards. 1, 2, 3. So we take our discard and we shuffle it back up. Deal ourselves 1 more card. Not looking like we're going to use that chloroform. Pistol, whip, wrench, and the claws. That's what I was waiting for. So let's use the claws right away with Lois. And we'll attack the enemy in the middle. So this does 3 damage, +1 for each cunning, 1, 2, 3, 4, plus you roll the combat die, and you remove 2 damage tokens. And the only caveat is if you roll a -1, you take 3 damage. So we'll attack the enemy in the middle and try not to roll a -1. 1. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. That's great. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we can do splash damage, 5, 6, 5, 6. I don't know why I stopped there. 7, 8. So we've done at least half our damage on this one, so it's okay to do that. So we've actually taken out 2 enemies with 1 strike, but the enemy still counterattacks even when you cover their last heart. So it's going to be 2 damage back to Lois. 1, 2. And now now I've only got 1 enemy left to deal with. So let's take the pistol and give it to Captain Vine and attack the 1 remaining enemy on the right. So we got to roll the combat die. It does 3 damage by default, so as long as I don't get a -1, I'm good. 0. Good enough. So that does 3 damage, cover 1, 2, 3. And then the enemy counterattacks with 2, but I've got 1 shield, 2 shields, so Captain Vine doesn't take any damage. The enemies are defeated. I can clean up the combat. So take these and these. We can give it a little shuffle, but we'll shuffle it before the next combat anyway. Doesn't really matter. Take back all these damage markers. And we came out of that pretty okay. Nobody's KO'd, which is nice. And so that's how combat works. It's a little bit of a puzzle. I've only played this game solo. I don't know what that would be like multiplayer. If I ever played this game solo, or I'm sorry, multiplayer, I would not use the multiplayer rules. I would just use solo rules and have everybody come to consensus about decisions. Because I don't know what it would be like trying to coordinate that with a bunch of people. It doesn't seem super fun, but who knows. Anyway, we won the combat, so let's go back to the book. If you defeat the enemies, turn to 21.8. So let's go there. The rats spit curses at you as they retreat into the jungle. You loot their camp and return to the river. Gain 3 blood flowers and 1 coin. We have got a lot of coins. But you can't have enough blood flowers, so we gain 3 of those, which is good. We're going to need that. 1, 2, 3. So we need 1 more blood flower to level somebody up. And then also cross off that location, so we're not going back there. And then return to the map. So that was quite the explore. We've got 1 time left for this turn, so let's spend it to move down the river 1 more space. And there is a hazard here. There are rocks in the river, so I need to roll the fate die. And if I roll a 1 through a 4, we take 1 boat damage. So let's swap that out for the fate die. 6. We got lucky, so no boat damage. So that is it for that turn. We're out of time. Reset the pocket watch. And it's a new turn, so we grab a new event. Fire frogs. That does not sound good. Warty amphibians spew fire from the shallows. Take 1 boat damage, and 2 characters each take 1 damage, and then gain a meat. So 1 boat damage, we're down to 4. 2 characters each take 1 damage. Who's got the most health? Captain Vine goes down to 5. Yeesh, this is rough. And Dr. Milk goes down to 4. I don't trust that guy. And gain 1 meat. Now we are fully equipped. We can't hold any more items, so I should think about trying to spend items in one form or another, just to make room so we don't have the opportunity cost of not being able to gain something later. But there are 2 spaces we can explore on this square. One of them is an overgrown trail. So let's start with that. So it says you must spend 1 rope and then cross off this location. Let's go ahead and spend the rope. And we cross off this location. And we need to do a savvy challenge, and we need to get to 9, which is pretty high. So let's have Dr. Milk participate. So he's got 1, 2 savvy. And let's just really go all in. 3 savvy, 4 savvy, 5 savvy. We need to get to 9. So let's go ahead and roll. What did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is not enough. So I can either spend a map and get a savvy from that, but that is our only map and we might want it later. So instead I'm going to spend a reroll token and roll again. 6. Okay, that'll do it. So we pass the challenge, so we don't need to take damage, and then we gain 1 blood flower. That's great. We need that. So that's 5 blood flowers. We're a quarter of the way there, and somebody levels up. Who should it be? You know what? I think I'm going to go with... I don't remember off the top of my head what everybody's bonuses are, but I think I'm going to go with Mei Ling, because I think she gets more perception, and I think you use perception challenges fairly regularly. So she's got 5 health. That's going to remain. All the tokens and other stuff remains. What you do is you flip the board over. There you go. 5 health. Yeah, so 2 perception. Also has 2 cunning and 2 savvy. Okay, that's a lot. And now her max health is 9. It was 8 on the other side. So that's pretty good. So we leveled up Mei Ling. So not too shabby. I don't think I spent the time that I was supposed to. There we go. And then there's another explore here. Let's spend 2 more time and see what that's about. So that is location 4. I'm kind of just stopping to explore everything that I can, if you haven't picked up on that, because it's an exploration game, and that's the fun part. Rapids roar through giant rocks nearby. A wrecked boat is lodged between the jutting boulders like a piece of food in a giant's teeth. We can investigate the boat and do a savvy challenge, or we can push the boat free with a strength challenge. So I think I want to investigate this boat. That's a savvy challenge, and what am I going to do? I am going to spend 1 meat, and that allows you to gain 1 stamina. I'll give that to Dr. Milk, and I'll do a savvy challenge. I'll spend that stamina to get 2 savvy, and this one to get another 2. So I'm up to 4 savvy, and I need 7. So now we roll fate. So that's 7. So no damage, and we turn to 4.1. Cool water rushes into your boots and clothes. As you let the river wash over your tired body, you reach to the bottom of the boat and gather an armful of anything you can get free. When you return to the Harpy, you find many of the items still in good condition. Gain 1 map, 1 torch, 1 coin, and card 22. Then cross off this location, return to the map. So it's allowing me to gain 3 items, but I only have 2 slots. So between the map, the torch, and the coin, I've got a ton of coins. So I'm going to grab a map and a torch. I feel like I so rarely have this many items. This is pretty unusual. And then card 22. Yeah, most of my experience in this game has not been that I have tons of stuff. It's been usually pretty tight. I noticed that I don't have any fruit, though. I've only had the 1 fruit that I started with the whole game. I would like some more. This is an advancement, so this is permanent. Sailor. When traveling, +1 to the rocks die roll. I like that a lot. And that is another savvy. Why don't I give that to Dr. Milk? All right, so that'll be useful if I run into rocks again. Now I cross off this location and return to the map. So I have 1 time left, and so I'm just going to use it to continue sailing north. 1 up to page 6, which is here. And so we're coming from here, and there are rocks here, and if you roll a 1 through 5, then you hit those rocks, and you take 1 boat damage. So I will roll the fate die. 5, yes. So because of this, when traveling, +1 to rocks die rolls. So that 5 counts as a 6. So now I don't hit the rocks. That was perfect. Sometimes you just get lucky that way. So let's reset and take another turn, starting with an event. Nest. Dr. Milk collects eggs from a nest and small lizards attack him. Dr. Milk takes 2 damage, you dummy, and gain 1 meat. Oh, and I can't even gain the meat. That stinks. Whoopsie. So I've got to find a way to get rid of some of these coins. And looking at the map, I can see that there's a space just to the left if we continue to travel where I can spend some coins. It's, you know, kind of like these hidden treasures or caves, but it's a different one that we haven't seen yet. So I'm going to travel to try and get rid of some of these coins. So this is all one big space. I'm going to spend one time to travel left, and that is to page 16. So now we enter here. And this is a trader. So the trader says you may pay coins to purchase any of the following items, or you can spend your other items, and each item counts as one coin. So I guess that's kind of odd. They could just say you can spend any amount of any items. But the items on offer are cards 45 and 17, and you may look at them before you buy them. So card 45 is a weapon. That is a bow that does extra damage for perception, so that could be really good for meleeing. And 17 is supply box, which also gives you perception. And when you rest, you get 2 more reroll fate die, so that's pretty strong. So the total cost, this is 4 and this is 2. So do I want to buy them all? I think I do, actually. So I need to spend 6. I've got 4 coins up here. Come on. And 5 and 6. And we spent 1 time to travel here, and then this trader action is an explore, so let's move that. So let's equip this here, and we will put this in our deck. What do we want to get rid of? Probably another machete, because I got like a ton of those. Yeah. There's a couple, there's 2 whips in there. I don't know about 2 whips. There's 2 wrenches. We gotta get some more weapons. Strengthen up our deck. All right, but that was okay. So now we're going to spend 1 time to move back to where we came from, page 6. You do not need to cross the traders off the map. You can return to them later if you want, but that one won't have anything else. There's no reason. So now we need to re-roll for these rocks again. And so I'm probably going to take a hit. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 is within 1 to 5, so we take 1 boat damage. We probably need to repair the boat soon. But that's it for this turn, so reset the watch, grab a new event. We have Old Boat. You crash into an abandoned boat that is hidden in foliage. Take 1 boat damage. Come on, man. Okay. And gain 1 map. I'll take a map, that's fine. Well, now we should definitely repair because we're getting pretty low. So that's going to take 2 time. And repair is just a craft challenge. So we're going to have John do this. He's going to spend a stamina. John has 1, 2, 3 craft, and we roll the fate die. And also don't forget that this advancement plus 1 to the fate die when taking the repair action. So when we use John, we've really got 1, 2, 3, 4. And another 4 makes 8, which is the max you can get, 8 or more. We had a 50-50 chance of that, so we get to repair 3 damage to the boat. 1, 2, 3, so we're up to 5. That's a little bit better. And while we're here, we can do this hidden treasure. So we need to spend 1 treasure map, and we've got 1, 2, 3 of those. Let's just take the 1 off the boat board. And we'll cross off this location. And now we need to do a perception challenge of 11. That is very high. I guess before we do the challenge, we can, whoopsie, take this and put it here. So we repaired the boat. We're exploring now. We should be here. So if we need to get to 11 perception, we definitely need meleeing. So that gives us 4. And we probably need a lot of help. Let's just grab whoever we can. 5, 6, 7. And then we need to roll at least a 4, or we can spend some of these torches. Each one of those can get us another. So we've got 4, 5, 6, 7. We're at 7. We need 11. 6. Okay, I went a little overboard on spending the stamina, but that'll be enough. Oh, so we gained 2 things here. That's nice. Gain 1 blood flower and card 49. I just thought it'd be a blood flower. It's good to pick up one of those. But what is card 49 going to be? Weapon. I like that. We could use a new weapon. Double daggers. That is 3 damage plus 1 for each cunning. So that's a ton of damage for Lois. And even Mei Ling's doing okay with cunning now. Plus you roll the combat die. So that's pretty awesome. So because it's another cunning weapon, and we've already got one of those in here. That's the claws. I think I'm going to get rid of the other taunt. Although taunt lets you get rid of power tokens. That's a lot of damage, though. Yeah, we'll get rid of taunt and put in double daggers. So we've got 2 cunning-based weapons in the deck. Okay, that's pretty cool. And we've got 1 time left. We might as well use it just to move here. And we'll probably explore that location next. I'm getting pretty low on stamina. My health could be a little higher. We might be getting close to another rest, but let's start the next turn by drawing an event. Rats. Vermin infest the cargo hold, eating the supplies. Lose 1 resource. Okay, what do I want to get rid of? It's probably going to be a torch because I've got 3 of those. So we'll lose a torch. All right, I'm kind of nervous to explore in my current state of health and stamina tokens, but I do notice, I'll use the book to my advantage, there's no enemies on this side, so I'm not going into battle, I know that. So I think I will explore and take my chances a little bit. So this is location 8. Whoops, I'm sorry, the lighting is dimmer than it looks, and I'm kind of far away. That is location 11, not 8. So we're at location 11, and this says, if keyword eyelid, you may turn to 2. And we actually do have keyword eyelid. This was the snake key, so let's remember what that was. A man gave us a copper key with a metal snake head on the end of it. It belonged to his son who died chasing treasure from the gods. So we can turn to 2, which is interesting. It's sending us somewhere else. What does 2 do? John takes the key from his pocket. I've been thinking, maybe we should let this go. I don't want to get lost on some quest for the gods and forget about my father. So we can let John leave the key behind, or tell John that you have to keep it to save Shen. Well, I'm kind of interested. I don't have any leads, though, on where we would use a snake key. And we're already using the key word. So let's go ahead and let John get rid of the key. Because I think it does make sense. He wants to focus on finding his father. That's a good thing. So turn to 2.3. You land on a peaceful beach and John digs a hole, placing a small white flower in it next to the key. Maybe this will let his spirit be free. And wherever he is, let the gods leave him in peace, says Mei Ling, covering the small hole with dirt. Gain 2 fruit and 1 torch, and place card 61 in the box. So this was card 61, this quest, so that goes away. And we gain, 2 fruit and a torch. I like that. So let's put the torch up here, and 1 fruit. Put the other fruit here. Fine. Okay. Oh, and then we keep going. Turn to 11. So that was just like a side quest. We're still at 11. You find a life vest hanging on a branch. Looks like we're not the only boat to end up here, says John, pointing out the U.S. Navy patch sewn on the jacket. Mysterious. Gain card 4 and cross off location 11. Okay. Card 4. There's the life jacket, and cross off location 11 and return to the map. So cross off 11, And what are we going to do with this life jacket? So I haven't really talked about this, but every item is contained usually by some type. So there's permanent advancements, and this is life jacket goes on the body, fishing pole, supply box, each go in a hand. The useful gear takes 2 hands. So you have limitations on where you can place this stuff. So, Captain Vine's already got a life jacket, and that's on his body, so he can't have 2 things on his body, so we can't do that. Advancement, 2 hands, miscellaneous, advancement. I mean, these are the other 2 characters with strength, so I feel like I should use one of them. And I've been using Dr. Milk's stamina tokens more quickly than John's, I think. So I'm going to give John the life vest, and that gives him a block as well. And so next, I think I'm going to move 1 space. We'll go up. And then there is a cave here that I'd like to explore. That's going to cost us 1 torch. So 2 time to explore. Let's get rid of this torch. And now we have to cross off this location so we cannot come back to the cave. Just as a reminder, we started down here. We kind of worked our way up here. We stopped over at the trader and came back, and now we are here. I think I'm going to kind of loop around this one and then continue up. So now we need to do a strength challenge, and it is, we need to get up to 9. So I'll use Captain Vine and John, and that'll get us 2, 4. And the only other one with any stamina is Lois, and she doesn't have any strength skills. So that means I've got to roll a 5 or above, or I can spend some of these meat to get more strength. Or we've still got a fate reroll token we can use as well. So I'm at 4. I need 9. Let's roll the fate die. 6. That was very lucky. So that gets me up to 10. That's enough. So I don't take any damage, and we gain 1 blood flower. So we're kind of chugging away on these blood flowers with a lot of the, caves and paths and treasure maps, those sorts of things. So we're up to 7. Again, we need to get to 20. It's really big if you can do some combat, though. You generally get, 3 or 4 from combat, which is nice. These are spent. We need another 3 to level up another character, and that would be good too. So I was considering resting, but I think I want to get through the event first, because there's a chance the event will give one of these characters a status token, like a Venom or a Weakened, and then the rest can cure that too. So let's see what the event does and see if it brings anything bad our way. Exactly. Mei Ling's despair. Mei Ling worries her husband Shen is already dead. Mei Ling gains madness. And that was pretty perfect timing for that card, because this is a terrible card, because the way to cure madness is for Mei Ling to spend 2 stamina, but madness means that the character has no abilities, so that means these abilities, so she can't cure her own madness, and it also affects these abilities down here. So that was a pretty lucky time for that to come up, considering I wanted to rest. So let's rest now. I think it's a good time. Cross off a moon. So we've crossed off 2. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 left. I think we're in decent shape. Again, we're trying to get to the waterfall in the northwest, according to that quest card there. So yeah, we're a decent way there. I think I kind of want to go left. I might want to swing around here to get more blood flowers, but we're trying to make our way up there right now. So having only used 2, I think we're on track. I think we're okay. So let's start by removing 1 status token. How about that one? And let's replenish everyone's stamina. So 3 tokens for each character. Lois was the only one with 1 left. So that's pretty good stamina usage. Stamina? Is that what I just said? Stamina. And what's next? Each character gains 2 health. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Who's the lowest? Dr. Milk at 4. So when we rest, we get 1 more health. We'll give it to Dr. Milk. And when we rest, we also get 1 meat and 1, 2, 3, 4 fate rerolls. So here's a meat. It's on the board up there. Just leave it for a second. And here are 4 more fate reroll tokens. That's a lot. And now I can spend a fruit and a meat together while resting to gain 5 health wherever I want. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I've got another fruit and a meat for another 5 health. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 8, 8, 8, 8, 7 is everybody's health right now. So we're in a pretty good spot, I think, and we can continue now. So we've already done the event. Let's travel 1, 2. Let's swing around this way and then explore for another 2. That is location 3, if my eyes are telling the truth. Yes, 3. So here is location 3. A structure of crumbling stone peeks through the vines. You secure the harpy and cut your way through the trees to the ruins. A tower, partially rebuilt, stands watch over a mess of buildings shaken to the ground like leaves after an autumn wind. In the center stands a wide, bottomless well. A platform hangs within it, attached to a thick rope and pulley. So we can either search the ruins or climb down the dark well. Well, I mean, that's where the good stuff's got to be, right? It's got to be down the what did it say, bottomless well? We're going to climb into the bottomless well. We're going to climb in a long time, I guess. Let's climb down the well. You must pay 1 rope. So I do have 1 rope. Let's get rid of that. And I also need to do a strength test of 6. So I'm just going to use Captain Vine for this. He's got 2 strength, but I've got a ton of reroll tokens. So I need to roll at least a 4. All right, that happened quick. I didn't need a reroll token. So now we turn to 3.2. The platform is the size of a lifeboat and looks in good condition. Everyone is eager to see what's down the well, except Mei Ling, who insists on keeping watch at the top. We'll be right back, Mother. Thank you for taking good care of us, says John patiently. Someone needs to watch the line, she says, as she looks down the well with a shudder. Deep in the well, carved into the rock, is a giant face with a thick tongue and 2 golden idols hanging from its ears. As you reach out to touch it, the face moves. Get your dirty hands away from me, says the face. John laughs quizzically. Who's back there? No one, says the face, twisting its stone brow. It's just me, you disgusting human. Do you live down here? Asks Dr. Milk, intrigued. Of course not, you tiny-brained, flesh-covered animal. I stole these golden idols from the goddess Shorm. She has a temper like a hurricane, and when I wouldn't give them back, she stuck me down here with no way out. I've held my ground for 100 years or so, but here you are, and as mortifying as it is to admit, I'm lonely. Now get out of here before I stoop to more of this unsavory conversation. And take these idols with you. Return them to Shorm's shrine in the island upriver. You'll have to do it quickly. You mortals can't hide anything from a goddess. She'll find you, steal the idols back, and bury you in a mudslide. We'll take them, says Lois. But we've got more important things to do than run errands for a slimy old statue. As you prefer, putrid person, the statue snubs. It's your life, and if I remember, you only have 1 of those. So we can agree to take the idols to the shrine. We can climb out and try to fill the well with dirt. That's going to take a long time. It was a bottomless well, right? Or we can just steal the idols with cunning. And we have a ton of cunning, so that should not be too difficult. And that sounds kind of awesome. So let's do that. Let's spend 1 token here. 1 stamina from Lois. So that gives us 4, and we need 9. And again, I've got a lot of reroll tokens, so I don't think I need... I was going to spend another one from Mei Ling to get 2 more, but I don't really need to. I've got so many fate rerolls. Let's just... let's get 9 this way. So I need to roll a 5 or a 6. All right, it's 6 again. So, what is that? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cunning. That's enough. So we just turn to 3.5. Let's steal some idols. Looks like let's go back and read the previous line before we decided to steal the idols. So the statue snubs. As you prefer, putrid person. It's your life, and if I remember, you only have 1 of those. You mean you have more than 1? You ask the statue. What? Life, you say, trying to convey sincere awe. The statue straightens and relates the tales of a long life of glory. When the story ends, the day is almost gone. You retreat back up the well, idols in hand, the statue unaware of your trickery. Gain 1 torch, 1 fruit, 1 coin, 1 blood flower, and card 62. Cross off this location. All right, so 1 torch, 1 fruit, 1 coin, 1 blood flower. Yes, please. And card 62. So this says, Shorm's Idols, keyword monkey. A stone face at the bottom of a well convinced us to take 2 golden idols to a shrine on an island in the river. All right, so let's keep an eye out for an island in the river. And now we cross off this location and continue. So we've got 1 time left. Let's use it to move up to this neck in the river. That's the end of the turn. So we draw a new event. And we have Hidden Rocks. The harpy hits some river rocks as you catch fish. Take 1 boat damage and gain a meat. I think we've gotten that one before, so it must be in there a couple times. Let's gain the meat. And we'll put this, put it here. I like to keep the meat and fruit near each other so I remember to spend them together when I do the rest action. Well, we might as well explore. We're at location 9. Spend 2 time. All right, so location 9. A water snake slithers over the harpy's gunwale and bites you on the arm. That's not good. You fling it back into the water, cursing. Treat the wound. Savvy 7. Well, let's have Dr. Milk do this. He's got 3 savvy. And roll the fate die. That's a 4. That's not enough. So we're going to spend a token and re-roll. 6, 7, 8, 9. That's enough. So turn to 9.2. Mei Ling takes your arm, examining the bite as gently and patiently as she would a piece of art. I don't think it's venomous, she assures you. Water snakes are scared by the tiniest threats. They hiss and bite and make a big fuss. It'll hurt for a while, but it won't kill you. Gain 1 fruit, cross off location 9. Okay, I mean, the fruit's okay. That was not a hugely impactful event, but that's okay. I guess, yeah, I'll take a fruit and a meat, put them up there. So that's 5 more health at the next rest. And let's move north. So this is, we flip to page 20 now. We are here, okay? And right on this space, we can do a hidden treasure. So let's spend 2 to explore, and we have to spend a treasure map and cross off this location. So we've gone all the way up here, kind of looped around there, and now we're here. And I don't think I want to go up this right fork. I think I want to go left. So we'll probably continue to move after this exploration. But now we do a perception challenge of 10. If we fail, we lose 8 health, and then we gain 1 blood flower. We want the blood flower, and we still have a ton of reroll tokens. So let's just go ahead and have Mei Ling do this alone. So she's got 4 perception, and we need 10. So we've got to roll a 6. A 4. So let's spend a token. 6. Okay. So that makes 10. So we gain 1 blood flower. Great. Oh, and I guess I could have put this book away a little while ago. So if we look again, 1 more blood flower till we can level somebody up, and then we'll be halfway through. We need 20 blood flowers. We got 9. But we have no more time this turn. So reset the watch. Grab an event. Supply cache. You find a pile of crates covered in spider webs behind a rock. Gain a rope and a map. Well, that's nice. There's a map. There's a rope. When you get a good event, it feels like just a good event. Nothing bad happens. Feels real nice. So let's use 1 time. We're going to travel west to page 7. So we are coming from page 20. That didn't do anything. Looks like if we go up here, there's a cave and a hidden treasure. Each of those will get us a blood flower so we can level up. And then I think I want to go down. So I think I'll come up here. We'll take care of those. Come back, do that, explore, and then continue down. That's the plan. So move once. And so let's start with the cave. Explore. Spend a torch. We'll spend this one. And cross off the location. And now we need to do a strength challenge of 9. So we're going to need John and Captain Vine. That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got to roll a 5 or better. Oopsie. That's not going to do it. Let's spend a token. That works. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So gain 1 blood flower. That is very useful. Let's gain a blood flower. And who is going to level up? That's the question. And I think I'm going to go with John. So John has 8 health right now. I feel like John's going to get powerful by leveling up because he's already got, with these skills here, none of these are duplicated. I'm hoping either strength, craft, or both will be doubled on the other side of the board. And it is both. And, oh man, they're all doubled. 2 perception too. So that will help with the skill checks going forward. 8 health. And one more slot to hold equipment, which is nice. And also 1 new ability. Before, John could spend 1 stamina to remove a power token from an enemy. That was already the case, but now John can also spend 1 stamina to gain 1 block. So that is all good stuff. We leveled up John. We have half the blood flowers we need. And now I would like to explore again. I want to do this hidden treasure, but we don't have enough time. We haven't run into this before. So when you have 1 time left, you can end your turn early and then mark it. You have an extra time to spend on the next turn. So we passed a little early because we couldn't do the thing we wanted to do, but now we have extra time on the next turn, so we'll start that turn with an event. Giant mosquitoes. Dr. Milk is covered in painful, itchy bites. Dr. Milk gains a venom, and then we all gain 1 meat. So I guess we're eating mosquitoes. I don't know. There's a venom. Here's a meat. Not real thrilled with that. I guess what I can do, I don't really need to rest. I'm going to spend 2 stamina to use this ability to remove the venom, and then I'll spend the meat we just got to return 1 stamina to Dr. Milk. So really, instead of gaining a meat and a venom, effectively all we did was lose a stamina. So let's keep going now. Let's spend 1 time with the token, and then 2 to explore. We're going to do the hidden treasure. So that requires spending a treasure map and crossing off the location. Cross off the map. And now we do a perception test. So we need perception of 9. If we fail, we lose 8 health. And then we get a blood flower, either way. So let's do this. We'll spend 1 here and 1 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I need at least a 3. Yeah, that was, I guess, overkill. That's okay. We get a blood flower. That is number 11. And now we will keep moving. So let's spend 1, 2 time to move 1, 2 times. And then we can spend 1, 2 time to explore this location. Okay, so location 30. If keyword monkey turned to 30.2, we do have keyword monkey. Where'd we get that one? A stone face at the bottom of a well convinced us to take 2 golden idols to a shrine on an island in the river. I suppose we are on an island in the river, aren't we? Okay, so we're going to turn to 30.2. You climb up the sheer stone to the trees. The island pulses from the ground to the treetops as if it's alive, breathing, beating like a heart. The beat pounds greater and greater from deep in the earth, and the ground lurches, trying to throw you into the river. Catch your balance. Perception 8. If we fail, we lose 6 health and gain a weakened. Yeah, I think I spent too much stamina the last time I needed to do a perception test, so we'll just do Mei Ling by herself. So she's got 4, and then I need to roll a 4. And that'll do it. So turn to 30.1. From the center of the island, a crack opens, spewing steam and hot stone. A A small alcove holds an array of toppled golden figurines, and you place the 2 idols among them, burning your hands. A voice calls from the depths of the crack in the earth. Followers of Shorm, your offering is acceptable. You suddenly feel stronger, but you have no interest in meeting Shorm, the cursed goddess. Gain cards 20 and 26. Cross off this location. So let's cross it off. Okay. Gain cards 20 and 26. Let's see what we get. Love getting cards 20, 26. So 20 is a permanent advancement. Restore 4 health to yourself at the end of combat. And then the other is Battle Cry, also a permanent advancement. You can spend a stamina token to reroll a combat die. Interesting. Well, who can even take a permanent advancement? We've already equipped one to John, to Mei Ling, and to Dr. Milk. So Lois can, and Captain Vine can, and that's actually the 2 best candidates for those. So we'll give this one to Lois, get another Cunning, and give this one to Captain Vine, get another Strength. Okay, there we go. And we're out of time for the turn, so let's reset it and grab another event. Scorpion. That's not going to be good. A scorpion drops from a hanging branch and stings Captain Vine. Captain Vine gains a venom and then also gain a fruit. Well, fruit can be spent to get rid of a venom, so let's just spend the fruit I got to get rid of that venom, and it's a wash. So it's like we had no event. And let's move the boat twice. 1, 2. So we go down and then down again to page 16. So we are here. And what number is that? Okay, where are we going? So we already came here from here earlier and we went to this trader. So I think I'm going to come down and then go left this time. So I see there's a location we can explore here and one here. So one of those is going to put us into this combat, and then we can go to this overgrown trail and get a blood flower by spending a rope, I believe. Other than that, there's just a couple of rock obstacles. So let's continue doing what I've been doing, and we'll explore. So let's spend 2 time to explore 26. You hear screaming from the jungle. So you can investigate or continue sailing. All right. I mean, let's do it, right? We're here. Let's investigate. You cut through the greenery toward the outcry. As you enter a clearing, you soon find the source of the screaming. A huge centipede emerges from behind a rock, scraping its mandibles together to create the sound of a desperate human cry. Other giant insects approach from behind, clicking their jagged, hairy limbs. They tricked us. There's nobody that we're saving here. So we're going to do this combat now, and we can flee from this combat at the end of any round. If we do, we just cross off the location and return to the map. Otherwise, keep fighting until you defeat the enemies or lose. So we're going to need these again. So this one starts with 2. Oof. This one starts with 4. Yowza. And this one has 2. So let's hope that the combat cards we've acquired and put into our deck will help us out. Shuffle it up. And okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to need to swap those. Okay. We've got, the double daggers, heavy machete, wrench, claws, and the whip. I think I want to start with, the claws. So we've got the 2 cunning weapons. I'm going to hold on to the double daggers until the next round. I'll start with the claws because I can get rid of 2 power. So we'll have Lois use the claws. And who am I going to attack? She's going to attack the one on the left, so let's go ahead and roll the combat die. 1. So we do 3 damage, plus the 1 is 4, plus 1 for each cunning. So we're at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. And remove 2 power tokens. Let's do that first. And then do 9 damage here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've done at least half our damage here. Now we can do splash damage. 6, 7, 8, and 9. I think that was pretty good. And now this one attacks back. 2 damage, and she doesn't have any way to block it. So 1, 2. So I think next I'm going to have Captain Vine use the heavy machete on the enemy on the right. So it's 0 damage plus the combat die plus strength. So 1, 2, 3. So 3 plus this roll. 3 plus 1 is 4 to the one on the right. Let's do 1, 2. Oh, you know what? We'll go on the blank one. 3, so that I can do this splash damage here. 4. So now this one does 2, 3, 4 damage back. I've got 1 block, so 1, 2, 3. So next I think we'll have John use the wrench on the enemy on the right. So we roll the die, 0. So 0 plus 0 plus 1, 2, 3, 4 for craft. So 4 damage to the one on the right. So we'll do this 1 and then this 3. 2, 3, 4. Remove 1 power token. And now 3 damage. 1, 2, 3 damage back. You've got 1 block, so 1, 2 damage. And I've got 1 more attack this round, and we'll use the whip. And that'll be Dr. Milk. We'll attack the one on the left. So that just does... I guess we should do the one on the right. Okay, fine. We'll do the one on the right. 1 damage. That'll go there. And remove 1 power token. And now this does 2 damage back. And this is block 2, so nothing happens. So it's the end of the round. Let's put these away. There are no end of round features left, so we don't have to worry about that. So they don't grow in power either. And now we grab 4 more cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we still have our double daggers. We've got the pan bow. Oh, there's the chloroform. I was hoping for that. A pistol and the whip. So we'll have Captain Vine do the chloroform to the one in the middle. So that gets rid of 6 power tokens. There's 4 there. So let's get those out. And then the centipede attacks back with 2, and Captain Vine has 1 block, so just 1 damage. And now I think this will be a big one. We're going to have Lois use the double daggers, and let's attack the one in the middle. So we need to roll the combat die. 3, oh my goodness. Okay, so 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 1 for each cunning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 11 damage. That couldn't have gone any better. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So no splash damage, but that guy is done. Does counterattacks at 2. So we still take the hit, but that's the end of that enemy. So we're in pretty fantastic shape. Let's have Mei Ling use the pan bow against the one in the left. Roll this. -1. Well, that's okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4 perception. 5, 6. -1 is 5. So 5 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this one attacks back with 2, and this has 2 block. And let's have Dr. Milk use the pistol on the one on the right. So we roll this. 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay. So that goes there. This one attacks back at 2. You've got 1 block, so 1 hit. And that is the end of that round. Put these here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 1 more. We'll shuffle a little. And 5. pistol, wrench, machete, wrench. Not great weapons, but probably enough to get by. So let's have John attack the one on the right with a wrench. Roll this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's plenty. So this one is done. 2 damage back. 1, 2. And Mei Ling seems like she's doing okay. So she can use the pistol on the one on the left. And this should be fine no matter what. -1, so 3 minus 1 is 2. That's still okay. This one counters with 2. This has 1 block. So 1 damage. And that is it. They are defeated. So I can put these combat cards away. Not too bad. I think you can tell the improvement. We've powered up some. Let's put all this stuff away real quick. And let's see what happened. Where was that? 26? Yes. If you defeat the enemies, turn to 26.2. You defeat the insects to find a few crimson flowers nearby. Gain card 33. Let's do this in order. Card 33. And 2 fruit. I'll take that. Just put those there. 2 fruit, 1 rope, and 3 blood flowers. That's what I'm looking for. 1, 2, 3. So we're 1 blood flower away from our next level up. And then cross off that location and return to the map. All right, so we've got 1 more time left on this turn. Oh, what was card 33, though? That is a permanent advancement, but everyone already has a permanent advancement, so I can't equip it to anyone, which is too bad. It's a pretty good one. I like it better than this. This one was you may spend coins to deal 1 damage each, and I haven't used that. This one is in combat. If this character rolls a -1, re-roll, which is like the last thing that I rolled, so... I don't remember who rolled it, but anyway, that's neat. I just don't have anyone I can equip it to. So let's use this last time to move down 1, and there's hazards here. So if we roll a 1 to 4 with the fate die, we do 1 boat damage. So we rolled a 1. So even with this adding 1, it's still not enough. So let's use a token to re-roll that. All right, so we don't have to take the boat damage now, and that's the end of that turn. So reset the watch, grab a new event. Mei Ling hears ghostly cries from the deep jungle. Mei Ling gains madness. That's bad. So that's the second time that's happened, so we've got no way to cure that. We do gain 1 fruit. All of a sudden, I have a ton of fruit. Okay, so we need to think about... maybe taking another rest action before too long. I have a little stamina I can still hope to spend. And I think, yeah, there's a location here. So let's do that. It's a overgrown trail. You must spend 1 rope. So this is an explore action. Spend a rope. I'll spend this one. And cross off this location. And I need to do a savvy challenge. I need 9 savvy. So here I can get 1, 2, 3... I can get a 4th and a 5th. 5. So I still need to roll at least a 4. 5. Okay, that'll do it. Used a little more stamina than I needed to, but that's okay. So we gain 1 blood flower, and that is 15 blood flowers, so somebody else gets to level up. And so we've already done Mei Ling and John. I think the captain needs to level up. That just feels right. Oh, and I forgot. Restore 4 health to self at the end of combat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the captain is at 8 health. And we've got a fruit and a meat. Flip this over. All right, so we've doubled the storage space. It's got 4 now. And then 2 craft and 2 strength, so that really helps with the strength. And a new ability, you can spend a stamina to ignore rocks. That's pretty cool. So we leveled up Vine. and this was on 8. So that was an explore action. So we're going to move the boat forward, and we're not going to go to the trader because we've already purchased everything the trader has. So we're going to move again. And there's an explore spot there, but I think I'm going to skip it because we're starting to do really good on the blood flowers. We're getting close. So I just think we're in a strong position, and maybe I'm not going to risk another. So I'm just going to move forward. And then there's rocks again, so we need to roll 1 to 4. And because of this ability, we really need to roll 1 to 3, or above a 3. That's above a 3, so no rock damage. Yeah, and let's reset this. Let's get an event and see what happens, and then we'll probably have to rest. Grasping vines. Vines entangle the boat. Challenge. It's a strength challenge of 6. If you fail, 2 boat damage, and then you gain a rope. Well, the only one who can help is John. So John's going to spend a stamina token, has 1, 2, 3 strength. We need 6. The chances are pretty good we'll get it. 1. Oh no. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's spend this last reroll fate token because I'm going to get a bunch more when I rest. 1 again. That's not what I wanted. Okay. So we failed. 2 boat damage and gain a rope. Okay. Well, that's what it is. So new turn. I think I am going to start with a rest action. So we will cross off the 3rd moon of 6. Yeah, we're in real good shape here. So we get rid of 1 status token. Let's get rid of that madness. Every character gets 2 health. And Lois will go ahead and take that one. And I get, what else? When you rest, 1 meat. Put that there. And 1, 2, 3, 4 reroll fate tokens. And of course, we need to get all the stamina back. Okay, and I can spend meat and fruit together. Let's, I guess, start with these. Meat and a fruit, and that gives me 5 health. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't even need any more. Okay, so I got tons of extra. So we're in a very strong position. Let's spend 2 time, 1, 2, to repair the boat now. I think John can handle this alone. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 1 to the fate die, so 5 to start off with, and then roll the fate die. 6, 7, okay. So repair the boat 2. And now we're going to keep moving, so let's move 1 space, going left to page 18. So we are here. Sorry, I hit my recording limit. That might have cut me off, but saying if I roll a 1 to 4, I'm supposed to take 1 boat damage. Of course, I've got this skill here, so really if I roll 1 to 3, I take 1 boat damage. So let's roll the fate die. Okay, so no boat damage, and there's nothing to explore on that space either, so I guess I'm going to keep moving. Let's move again. So there's a location there, and it goes into the, looks like there's a trail. There's, I don't know, something going on there. I mean, I see there's 2 other stops here that I can make. Spend a torch, spend a rope. That'll get me a couple blood flowers. But I'm not sure if I really want to get into another combat at this point. I mean, I'm in a strong position for it because I just rested, but it might be unnecessary. I might be able to just get the rest of the blood flowers through these other little stops. Well, what the heck, we're here. Might as well stop, but I don't have enough time to explore, so let's reset and gain 1 extra time. I guess, yeah, we're already here. Okay, let's draw an event. Ruined house. A rotting, sun-bleached house on stilts sheds planks into the water. Gain a map. Okay, put it there. That's fine, and Now let's spend 1 and 2 time to explore location 10. The harpy rumbles gently along the curves of the river like a thunderstorm crossing a low valley. The ruins of a village come into view. Its toppled stones rest in peace at the edge of the jungle on a growth of thick foliage. A shudder in the leaves disrupts the quiet scene as the click-clack of insect legs approaches. Combat number 8, that's this one. And this one does not give you the option to run away. So we're going to have to win. Out come the tokens again. Very similar to the last combat we did, so I'm confident we'll be okay. But we might take some damage here. So there's 2 and 4. This is very similar. But this one's different. This beetle wasn't there before. And we'll need the combat die and this deck of cards. Let's give it a shuffle again. Oopsie. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do it. Machete, the pan bow, heavy machete, the claws, and the wrench. Let's start with this heavy machete. Give that to the captain. Attack the one on the left. -1, not super helpful. So -1, and he's got 4 strength, so that's going to be 3 attack in total. So we'll cover that venom, and this one where they heal themselves, and this one where they gain more power tokens. And then this one attacks back 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 block, so 1, 2, 3. So Lois is up next with the claws. Let's roll the combat die for that one. Man, what is going on? All right, so I'm going to spend one of these stamina tokens to re-roll the combat die because that is her ability, and she's also got the ability on that card. 3, that is better. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage to the one in the middle, and remove 2 power tokens. Let's do that. And so let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we can splash damage a little. 6, 7. Maybe not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do some 3s. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's pretty good. And now 1, 2, 3, 4 damage back. She's got no block. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll have John attack the enemy on the right. So let's roll. 0. So that's just going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and remove a power token. So we start with 1, 2. I can't really do anything else. That kind of stinks. Yeah, I guess I'll just, 3, 4. Just put in those blanks. Then remove a power token. And this one does 3 plus those. That's a lot. But he's got 1 block, so it'll be 3 damage total. And that was 3 attacks. I've got 1 more. Let's have Mei Ling use the pan bow. And I think let's attack the one on the left. So roll. -1. Man, what's going on? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to be the total to the one on the left. Let's do 1, 2. Well, let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one attacks back with 1, 2, 3, 4. She blocks 2, so 2 hits. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4 attacks. So these cards go away. There are no end of round effects. We managed to get those all covered. And 1, 2, 3, 4 more cards. The first time I played this game, I had a hard time wrapping my head around those end of round effects. I was trying to just focus on hearts and get everything covered. And it got progressively difficult very quickly each round. So I have found that covering the end of round effects and the power spaces are the way to go. So this is not so great. I guess I'll have Dr. Milk use the pistol against the one in the middle. So I gotta roll the combat die. Man, -1 again. So that's gonna be 2 damage. So I can at least place it here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 damage back. There's 1 block, so 1, 2, 3. This is gonna go into a 3rd round for sure. Well, this is kind of silly, but I'm going to have Captain Vine use the whip on, I guess, the one on the right. So that does 1 damage, which I can only put in this blank space, which is dumb. But then I get to remove this, and this does 3 damage back, but I have 1, 2, 3 blocks, so that works out okay. I've got this other whip here. Who's going to use that? Guess... boy, oh boy. I guess Mei Ling will use it on the one on the left. So again, 1 damage, which just goes in this blank spot, which is pretty useless. Remove 1 power token, which is good. Then 1, 2, 3 damage back. This blocks 2, so 1 hit. And now I've got 1 more attack. And I guess I'm going to do this to the enemy on the right with John. So I need to roll the combat die. 1. So that's going to be 3 damage in total. So I'll just put that here. 3 damage back. You've got 1 block, so 1, 2. So that was a rough round. A lot of starter cards. This chloroform is not as useful as I was hoping it would be. If you get it like immediately, it could be pretty good. I think it still has its uses, but it's not been super helpful so far. There we go, the double daggers, that will be good. Let's have the heavy machete go to Captain Vine, attack the enemy on the right. 2. So that's 6 damage, that's great, because I can do 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6 is splash damage to take out this middle one. This one counterattacks with 3, block 1. So 2 damage, and we'll have Lois use the double daggers on the enemy on the right. So let's roll. 1 plus 3 is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's more than enough to cover those 5. We'll go ahead and cover them up. 3 damage counterattack. Got no block. 1, 2, 3. So she's down to 1 hit. So we'll have John use the wrench on the enemy on the left, so we've got a roll. 1 plus 4 is 5 damage, but we can't place them orthogonally, so we'll cover up that 2, remove this power token. 2 damage back, you've got 1 block, so 1 damage back. And finally, we can have Mei Ling use the pistol on the enemy on the left, and no matter what we roll, 0, that's okay. 3 damage, we cover the 2, counterattack 2, we've got 1 block, 1 damage, and combat is over. Thank goodness. Where'd my cards go? There they are. Oops. So we survived that combat. Let's put the cards down, clean this stuff up. Okay, so we won that combat, and now we turn to the next piece. Lois walks up to the broken exoskeletons and plucks a strange carved stone from a centipede's mouth. Milk, get over here. She produces another stone from her jacket pocket, strikingly similar to the other. Dr. Milk snatches both stones from her hands and compares them. Yes, the symbols are almost identical. How strange. This jungle must be where the original stone came from. What are those? Asks John, peering over Dr. Milk's shoulder. The scientist can't contain his enthusiasm. Best estimates place this first stone at over 5,000 years old, made from a material that no one has ever seen before. The collector of antiquities we got it from said no one could place it geographically, like it came from another world. It's valuable beyond anything you can imagine. Surprising that he parted with it so easily, you say. Was he a friend of yours? Lois and Dr. Milk look at each other in silent conversation. Then Lois turns to you. It's funny how life throws friends in your path at opportune moments. We're just lucky you came along when you did. I mean, look where it got us. She smirks. This little stone makes our trip worthwhile, if you know what I mean. Mei Ling glances at the stones, then looks up with a penetrating stare. You think losing my husband is worth making you two rich? Do you realize that stone of yours may have brought us here? Dr. Milk laughs. What a ridiculous idea. He stuffs the 2 stones in his pocket. I can't wait to show this to the curator in New York. Lois looks back at Dr. Milk and sighs. Then she turns gently to Mei Ling. We don't get to choose our trials, Mei Ling, but we can make the best of them. This stone is a lucky find, that's all. We didn't mean to hurt you. Just help me get Shen back, Mei Ling says coolly and turns away. Gain 5 blood flowers, 1 meat, and 1 fruit. Cross off location 10 and return to the map. Alright, so here is 1 meat and 1 fruit and 5 blood flowers. That is quite the haul. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 makes 20, and someone can level up. And I think I'm going to do Lois because I feel bad for her because she's only got 1 item she can carry. She's at 1 health. She's doing a lot of work with the cunning. So let's flip this one over. Plus, I don't really trust her or Dr. Milk, but I especially don't trust Dr. Milk. I've never really gotten to the bottom of their story. She had 1 health, so she can go up to 9 now, which is great. So Lois. And that was location 10. So we have all the blood flowers we need. So now it's time to beeline for the waterfall. And we just had combat, so restore 4 health here. Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna move now. So let's move. Well, that must have been an explorer, so we must have been there. So let's move 1, 2 times. 1, 2, and that's the end. So we grab an event. Engine trouble. The Harpy steam engine is being fussy. Challenge. Craft 7. If we fail, we get 2 boat damage. We don't want to fail. So let's use John. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Not enough. We will spend a reroll fate token. Alright, that is enough, so we don't take any boat damage, and we gain a torch. So that can go right there. Lois will take it. And now we can keep moving. So let's move 1 space up, turn to page 24. There we go. There is a trader there. We can stop and buy things. We've got a couple of coins. We seem to have a lot of extra stuff that I don't know if we'll need. But I think we're okay. Let's keep moving. 1, 2 moves. 1, 2. And I moved up here. I think I need to do that one more time. Okay. And let's move one more time up here to page 26. That is the end of the turn. So now we draw an event. Hanging net. You find an old net hanging over a rock. Gain 1 rope. Okay, I'll take a rope. That sounds good. And now let's move 2 times because we want to get up the river. 1, 2. So the first time we go here, and I'm going to pay a stamina from Captain Vine to just ignore the rocks. And then the second time we go to here, and I think we might as well rest now because we want to be ready. So let's cross off another one of these moons. We've got plenty of moons left. And collect our bonuses. So everyone gets 2 health. 1, 2. 1, 2. And Lois will give another one. 1, 2. We don't have any tokens to get rid of. Everyone gets their stamina, which that's why it was fine for Captain Vine to ignore the rocks. And we have fruit and a meat, and then another fruit and a meat. So between those, we can get 10 more health. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I'm good with that. And now let's explore location 20. You approach the thick mist of the waterfall, cautious of the rocks covered in slimy clumps of moss. The roar is so loud you can hear nothing over the din. The mist condenses on the deck into the shape of a man, handsome, dark-haired, and smirking as he greets you. His expression moves, and his mouth forms words, but you don't hear any of it. You lean in, straining to make out any sound. Your face is twisted from the effort. He looks frustrated, then bursts with laughter. He slides his fingers in the air, as though he's painting the waterfall with a long brush, and it quiets to a thick, dark fall as smooth as obsidian. Better, he smiles. I see you found my waterfall. He feigns horror at your bruised faces and bedraggled appearances. You could have had a more graceful journey, though. Did you bring the blood flowers for me? Should have known, mutters Lois. He's Zakra? John steps back in surprise. That's quaint, says Zakra. I love it when humans miss the obvious. It reminds me of my own intelligence. Now, where are my blood flowers? Don't keep me waiting. So we can either give Zakra the blood flowers, requires that you have at least 20, or we can tell Zakra that we don't have enough. Well, we worked pretty hard to get all 20, so let's go ahead and take that option. So we give Zakra the blood flowers. Excellent, he says, tossing the flowers into the river. Now hurry through the falls. Your friend won't last much longer up there. John gapes at the petals as they glide down the river. Why'd you throw them in? Zakra turns away with a shrug. I don't care about the flowers. I just wanted to see how far you would go to please me. He disappears into the haze with a laugh. Should have seen that coming too, says Lois. I can't believe it. John can't get over the shock. Forget him. Mei Ling quiets them with a hiss. Captain Vine, are you going to take me to my husband, or do I have to swim? You guide the harpy under the falls and land by a stone stairway. Slimy moss covers the path upward. Your steps are uneven and awkward, but Mei Ling pushes ahead, undaunted. Keep going. We have no time to waste. Dr. Milk looks down at the black water below and the sheer drop off the slick stairs. You go first, he shudders. Don't let us keep you. The cave of the Scorpivern is unmistakable. Clawed into the side of the cliff, rough and rank like the mouth of a corpse. Its walls are lined with dirty human bones, some of them still wearing bits of flesh. There's no sign of the monster, but off in the shadow, against a wall, is a crumpled man lying on the floor. It's father, John cries. Mei Ling sobs as she runs to her husband. She doesn't say a word, just scans his body for wounds, for pulse, for breath. He's alive. He's weak. I don't know if I can wake him or if I should even try. We have to find a way out of here before the pounding of massive wings sends a windstorm into the hollow, throwing bits of bone with a terrible clatter. The Scorpivern lands on the cliff edge and screams a malicious warning. Death is the only way out of this cave, for you or the Scorpivern. All right, so we're going into combat. So we're at the boss fight here. And so this is the Scorpivern's head, wings, and tail, and you just treat each piece as if it is its own enemy, as if they're all unique enemies. There we go. Otherwise, it's a combat like any other. So let's shuffle up these cards and deal 5 of them out and hope that they're good. Okay. Whip, panbow, machete, pistol, double daggers. We've got some good stuff here. How do we want to use it? I mean, it looks like the stuff I want to cover on this middle piece is on the outside edges, so I think I want to attack the one on the left and try and do some splash damage. The one on the right, I've got to hit this corner and then probably hit a second time to do this. So 1, 2, 3, and then I've got a fourth move to try and catch anything I missed. This would have been a good time for the chloroform. That's too bad. Well, let's start with the panbow for Mei Ling to the section on the left. 2. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage to the one on the left. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, and we have to do at least half the damage here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That worked out pretty good. I do not remove any power here, so this is going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. I block 2. 1, 2, 3. Pretty good first hit. So next, I'm going to take the whip and give it to the captain and attack the one on the right. So it just does 1 damage. So I'm just going to cover this corner space, and then it removes 1 power token. So let's get that out of there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 damage is the counterattack, and I've got 1, 2, 3 block. So I only get hit once. That's pretty good. And now we'll have Lois use the double daggers on the one on the right. So we've got to roll a combat token, or the combat die, 1. And that'll be enough. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right, and then this does 1, 2, 3, 4 damage back, and I have nothing that'll block it. So 1, 2, 3. I guess I can spend a stamina to block 1. That seems worth it at this point. And we'll have Dr. Milk use the pistol to the piece on the right. So let's roll. 0. So that does 3 damage. My options are 2, 2, and 4. So I'm going to take that 2 in the corner. Cover that up. So 1, 2, 3, 4 damage back. I've got 1 block. So 1, 2, 3. And that is the first round of combat. And I've covered up all the end of round abilities, so we don't need to touch power tokens or anything. So we'll just keep going. 4 more cards. Looks like they're all starting cards. Another whip, another pistol, heavy machete, and a wrench. And so I think I'll use the wrench with John. So I'll do that to the piece on the left. Roll a 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not a super useful number, but I'll take it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5 is wasted. And now these 2 are blocked off from each other, which kind of stinks. But I get rid of 1 power token. It's 4 damage back. I've got 1 block. 1, 2, 3. All right, so maybe I'll take the heavy machete, give it to the captain, attack the one on the right this time. Roll -1. So it's going to do 3. So that's a complete waste. I'm going to have Lois spend a stamina to re-roll. So I need anything but a -1. 1, okay. So that's going to do 5 damage. Still sort of an awkward number. But I'll take it. So I'll put 4 there. The 1 is wasted. Now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I block 1, 1, 2, 3. So let's have Mei Ling use the pistol on the one on the left, I guess. So it does 4 damage. So I'll do 3. I'll just put it in the middle. And this does 1, 2, 3, 4. And I block 1, 1, 2, 3. And now 1 more attack. Let's have Dr. Milk attack the part on the right. So that's 3. I only needed 2. So this does 1, 2, 3, 4 damage back. Yowza. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dr. Milk is KO'd. But I can have John spend 1 block, I guess, just to keep him at 1. All right, next combat round. I think I'm going to be okay here. 1, 2, 3. Need 1 more card. Whoopsie, just spill them everywhere. Whip, wrench, claws. There's the chloroform and the pistol. Well, we need Lois to go big on the one in the middle. So we got a roll. I got a 1, so that's a total of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I was hoping for bigger than that, but I'll take it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Cover up those 4s. Remove 2 power. And now it's 1, 2, 3, 4 damage back to Lois. 1, 2, 3, 4. So she's hurting. Let's see if I can use a wrench with John and finish off that middle part. Yeah, that'll do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And remove 1 power token. So we're going to get 3 damage back. 1 block. 1, 2. So let's have the captain bring it home. Shoot the head. Left piece. All I need is to not roll a -1. That will be enough. 3 damage covers that heart. 1, 2, 3, 4 damage back. I've got 2 block. 1, 2. That is it. The Scorpivern is defeated. So let's just set these cards aside. I'm not going to bother clearing all the tokens. Let's see where we left off. Shen is battered and weak, but he can still limp, and you make for the waterfall. Now that Shen is safe, you won't risk another moment on the river. You push the Harpy's engines to full and make your way back downriver. The current is swift, and before long, John grabs your shoulder, pointing up ahead. There's the sea, and I can see a town, he says, hopping with excitement. Let's get out of this terrible place, says Lois, but Dr. Milk looks hungrily back at the jungle. I can't believe you'd go back in there, Lois scolds. But the animals, Lois, what a prize they'd be. You burst from the jungle into an emerald sea and make your way to Zockmere. Multicolored ships line over a mile of wooden docks, a maze of slatted pathways, fissures, barrels, supplies, hanging meat, and traders. Welcome to Zockmere, friend, says a bearded man in a patched green tunic. First time here? All refugees are welcome. Lost ships have a way of getting stuck here in the wandering sea. You may be here for a long time, but if you know how to catch fish, you can live comfortably. If you have the keyword cursed, turn to 20.6. And we do have the keyword cursed from very early on. We stole a golden bat statue from a man we met in the jungle. So let's see what that does. As you tie your boat from a day of fishing, you retrieve the golden bat statue and examine it in the pink light of dusk. Suddenly, the wings tremble and the statue stretches. Dark tentacles burst from the gold in every direction, growing into a monstrous beast with rows of knife-like teeth. You leap from the boat as the creature tears the harpy to pieces. It gurgles in the water, and you never see it again. And then there are a couple other keywords that we do not have. So that is the end. That was a playthrough, full playthrough of Sleeping Gods Primeval Peril. You know, if you made it all the way through, you are really something. Thanks for sticking with me. So here's my final thoughts on this one. So I think it's a great entry point into the series. You know, I think it gives you an introduction into all the basic mechanics that you need to know, but in sort of a scaled down sort of way. If you were to go from here and play the original Sleeping Gods or play Distant Skies, either way there would be a handful of rules changes. But if you were able to do if you already know all the rules from Primeval Peril, it's a lot easier to sort of just figure out those couple of rules changes and then go play, rather than take on the task of learning those entire games, which are larger. I feel like it's a little more overwhelming, whereas this one's just a little bit more contained, and you can get through it in one sitting. Albeit it's a little bit longer sitting, but here we are. If there's anything that this game does not convey well for the series, let's bring this back up. It's just that this map is fairly constrained. You're going down all these forking paths along the river here, whereas the other two games in the series, Sleeping Gods and Distant Skies, are much more open. They just feel more grand in scale, more epic. There's just more exploration. You have a lot more freedom. So this is more constrained. You feel on rails a little bit more on this one, but I think it's still a great game and a good way to start if you're interested in the Sleeping Gods series. And of course, as you can see, there's a lot of the map that we didn't cover in this particular playthrough. And, even the places that we did go, there were a lot of choices that we could have made differently. So there's a lot of replay value in this. So I think it's a great value. There's, the rest of this adventure deck, there's so many cards that we didn't get to in this deck. So there's just a lot more to see. We only got through about half of the event deck. And we didn't even see every page in this book, so there's a lot more to explore. It's super cool, and I'm still finding new things every time I play. So I'll of course edit this video down, but in real time it was about a 4-hour playthrough, and I think that's pretty typical for me on this game. But I would love to know what you think. I've been wanting to get this on the channel for a long time, And I'm toying with the idea of maybe in 2025 playing through the original Sleeping Gods, a full campaign, and that would probably, in my mind right now, that'd probably be like a 9-part series. So I'm curious if you think that's something you'd like to watch, if you'd be interested in that or not. Also, depending on when you're watching this, again, just prototyped this harpy. It's not done yet, but I think we're going to start making all sorts of 3D printed parts for the Sleeping Gods universe. So you can check out the link in the description, Brain Bucket Games. Again, that's just an Etsy store that I have with my buddies where I make 3D printed components. So I'm thinking we'll be doing some Sleeping God stuff soon, I hope. Yeah, definitely, again, if you made it this far, leave some comments. Let me know what you think about this. Did I make any mistakes? I obviously don't think so. I think I played it right, but you let me know if there's something that I messed up. And as always, now would be a fantastic time to subscribe and like this video and share it. That would be awesome. I'd really appreciate it. So thank you very much for watching this long video on Table for One. I will see you in the next video, and I hope you have an awesome week.